There is but one mind in the universe. All minds are inseparable from the one great mind. All so called individualized minds are individualized expressions of the one great mind, the University of Metaphysics. Hello, 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 and happy Friday. Welcome to the Manifest on Purpose show. I am your host, Kimberly. I help you transform your mind so that you can create the best reality for yourself. Thank you so much for investing your time and energy today. Thank you for inviting the ones you love, and thank you for signing up here for a subscription and on the website at manifestonpurpose.net. The God in me loves the God in you. Here's a few updates before we start the show. Are you manifesting your best life? Don't go into 2023 with the same stuff that held you back in 2022. Get to the bottom of it. Leave the weight behind and discover new solutions to help you manifest the best version of yourself. Let's have a conversation to determine where you are in your life right now versus where you want to be and how I can help you get there. Book your free discovery session today by clicking the link in the description. Auto suggestion, anyone? The best way to offer suggestion for your desires to the subconscious mind is through auto suggestion. Sure, I get it. You just don't have the time to do it every single day. No problem. Why not do it while you sleep? Click the link in the description to get a personalized auto-suggestion MP3 that you can play during the time that the subconscious mind is most open for suggestion, right as you're drifting off to sleep. Now that's just like manifesting while you sleep. Exclusive content alert. Are you loving the Manifest on Purpose show? Be on the lookout for limited access content. The first conversation has already been released. Click the link in the description for Overcoming Abandonment. Thanks for listening. Now let's get back to the show. I'm sure I told this story before, but it's just as relevant now than it was before. I've always understood the mind in two ways: how it was taught to me and how I experienced it for myself. It was taught to me similar to the way I described how the mind was taught in the previous conversation. My education taught me to believe the mind is limited and located in my head. It was sometimes taught interchangeably with the brain. But when I questioned the anatomy of the mind, nobody could point it out. I found that strange. This proved to be a bit confusing to me, but it fueled my passion to learn more about the mind. The scientific interpretation of the mind could not explain what I was experiencing using my mind. I also expressed in a few conversations back my love for reading. Snuggling in with an interesting book afforded me the opportunity to travel from reality to reality without moving from my comfortable location. That mental experience led me to question if there were other ways to experience mind. As a result, I began to play mind games. It's not at all the way it sounds. I simply began to test my mind to see if it was capable of more. The first time I tried a test as such, it was an unplanned trip with my mom. Normally, I was a homebody as a teenager. Mom would ask me occasionally to ride with her. One of those times, instead of declining as usual to be in the company with my books, I said yes. Mom was very stern and direct. I knew her to mean, if you're going to come with me, then come on and don't ask where we're going. I didn't ask her. I just jumped in the car with my oversized coat and, of course, one of my favorite books. This day, however, I decided not to read. I instead decided to play my first mind game. My intentions were to wheel the car with my mind with every turn to go in the direction I wanted it to go. Here's how that looked. I got in the car and covered my head. For the first few moments, I focused on something else to lose sense of direction. I knew the mind game could not work if I knew exactly where I was. Once I was clueless about where I was, with my head still covered, I began to say to myself what directions I wanted to go in. I would say, we're going to make a left turn. And we did. This continued until we reached our final destination. This experience confirmed my belief that the mind is so much more than I learned about in school. It could have been sheer will, an accurate intuition, telepathy, mind reading, or whatever. But what this experience really expressed to me is that the mind is powerful and there's no shortage of ways to prove it. What is mind really? So many people ask that question, and there are so many ways to describe mind. I choose to believe that the mind is energy and information. That energy is pure consciousness, the awareness of the infinite information of the universe. Mind is aware of all information in the universe, past, present, and future. Therefore, the mind is non local. All non local means is that it's not bound by space or time. So you can really say that the mind is omnipresent. It's just like the air is everywhere. According to metaphysics, we are all a part of one mind. The information that is available to me is also available to you. It just all depends on what frequency you are tuned into. In other words, what are you seeking? The poet Rumi said, what you are seeking is seeking you. Perhaps there are so many ways to define the mind because there are so many levels of mind. Mind, as I describe it today, is the highest level of mind. It is called the one mind, the universal mind, the collective mind, the infinite mind, or the God mind. The aspect of mind taught in school is part of the individualized mind. It's only an expression of the one mind. I will discuss these various levels of mind starting next week. Point to your mind. Have you ever played mind games? Have you ever seemed to be in the right place at the right time? Have you ever been able to complete someone's sentences? Have you ever known what was going to happen next? Newsflash. These are not experiences that happened in your head. The infinite mind. It's more than you probably learned in school. The reason being is it is more than academia and more than most can explain. It has to be experienced. I had to experience them in the mind games I played. While there are many definitions of mind, there is but one mind. It is the source of energy and infinite information. Not all of your thoughts are your thoughts. There's an infinite amount of information from past, present, and future available to you. There is but one great mind in the universe. All minds are inseparable from that one great mind, and all so called individual minds are individualized expressions of the one great mind. The University of Metaphysics. I love you to life. This is how you manifest on purpose. Let's prepare for meditation. This is another thing that this one great mind does. This is another expression, meditation. If you are driving, we're not going to try it right now. Please download this and save it for later. If you are not driving, please find your sacred space, the space that is comfortable, safe for you, the one in which you can relax and focus on your breathing. Enjoy your meditation.